Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, Mai Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May. Another beautiful Monday afternoon in California for me. Today, I have a wonderful, wonderful friend, Julie Ward. She's a fellow coach, a fellow relationship coach, and she's coming forward to tell us about her journey of how she worked with the experience of being raped when she was 14 and how that impacted with her life and where it took her and how she rebounded and reclaimed herself from all that. And before we dive in, this is an interesting dynamic for me because I want you guys to know that Julie and I, we're like girlfriends, and we talk and we can go deep and we can go really far, and then we'd be laughing and all that stuff. And so it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, we're talking about rape. This is a very serious subject, you know. And just when we got on the call, we were like talking about it, laughing and poking at it and pointing in all different angles. So I just want you to prepare you. You know, the conversation might not be serious, and that doesn't mean that we don't have reverence or respect for this situation. And at the same time, there is some lightness and freedom that we may have around this. Who knows? So everything goes. All right.
Everything's possible, May.
Everything's possible between you and I, honey.
You got it.
So, and the other thing too is that I want to spend a big hunk of time talking about the rape experience and also the recovery and the thriving and rebounding from it. I also want to make some time for us to talk about part of the recovery is, you know, the play, the exploration in the BDSM world, the bondage, dominance and submissive world. So that's also very fun and interesting and surprising in these kind of situations. So want to make sure that we have time for that. All right? All right, honey, let's go. So let's just give us a little background, you know. Well, actually, let's catch up with you, who you are today. So, give us some stats. How old are you, blah, 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 and where you live. And
Julie Ward is 100 years old. No, I'm not. I'm 48 years old. I live in Toronto, Canada. I have two daughters, one 20 and one 14. I am on my own currently. I have been through, I'd say 3 significant relationships, maybe 4 if I count my high school sweetheart, which I should count because he's a great guy.
That's right.
Yeah, count him. He's awesome. What else can I tell you? I am a relationship coach. I work with women around anything from sexuality, intimacy, to self-esteem issues, to understanding who they are being in a relationship with men. I have a big stand around family and people working through their issues if they can. And if they can't, then to, complete relationships in a healthy, honoring way.
That's right. You can start relationship well, be in it well, and then end well. That's
yes.
my motto.
Yeah.
So tell us, honey, about what happened. What happened when you were 14?
Well, what happened was when I was 14, I went to a house party where I should not have been at. So this is one of my first little things was, I shouldn't have been there in the first place. So I was 14, went there, and what happened was there was a real nasty guy there, and he was obviously wanted to take me and have me, and I didn't want that. So ultimately, I locked myself in the bathroom, and the guy went ballistic and was beating the door down, scared the hell out of me. I thought I was going to – I didn't know what to do. Yeah. And he threatened that he was going to kill me if I didn't open the door, and I was so scared and didn't know what to do, so I did. What I didn't know was there was him and his buddies there, so – not only did he kick the shit out of me when I opened the door, but I also was raped very violently by 5 guys. They weren't men. They were just young teens, or late teens. So it was horrible, absolutely horrible.
How do you even survive something like that at 14? I mean, I'm just kind of like, we can talk about it conceptually, but I'm looking at my daughter. She's 11. What the fuck? How do you?
Well, I've got my daughter's 14.
Yeah.
So, I see her, I'm like, sometimes.
Right. Exactly.
But you know what? To go back to, I'm going to stay right where I am. When I look at my daughter at the age of 14 now, it gives me the freedom today to see how young and vulnerable and childlike I was back then.
Right.
So it gives me a place of giving myself some gentleness and kindness towards myself instead of making myself wrong for, being in the wrong place.
Right. I mean, like when you're 14, you're just innocent.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we don't know any better, right? I mean, like how many person get locked themselves in the bathroom because some dumbass is banging on the freaking door, and it's just kind of nuts. And it's just amazing when you say that you judge yourself and you blame yourself for that.
Yeah, there's still elements of it today. Like here, it's like 30 some odd years later, and there are still chinks of that armor and those lies, and they're lies. That, I should have done something different. I did what I had to do in the moment, which was open the door, which probably saved my life.
I just want to, grab that little girl and just say, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God, that is just so awful. And not only that that happened to her, but also that you had any kind of judgment or blame on her,
Oh, I did, and I'll tell you, that judgment. I think you say the original question was around how did I survive that? Well, I shut down. I just went numb. I went insular. I went inside myself. I cut off emotionally. I became very protective of myself from that point forward. And I blamed myself a lot for having put myself into that situation in the first place. So I didn't, at that point in my life, in my teens, I was not loving or sympathetic towards what I had gone through. I held the bulk of blame and shame around the experience.
Yeah.
So I held to that for a long time in my teens, and it turned out to all forms of self-abusiveness and depression and angry, acting out, wild child, on steroids. So it was the teen years were a very, very tough time. So I think from a survival standpoint, it got down.
Did your mom and dad know?
No.
Oh my God! So you hid that from them too?
Well, yeah. Well, the whole crux of it was I was at a house party at the age of 14. If they found out about that, yeah, seriously, isn't that ridiculous?
I know.
Seriously, that I couldn't tell anybody.
I feel like turning this conversation into how do parents with your kids through teenage year? It's like, dude, the kind of I just want my daughter to be able to I want to be the place where she gets a call first, to say, oh my God, Mommy, this happened to me, rather than I'm the last person that.
Yeah.
So then did you let me see, I'm relating, sometimes when I had sex with somebody that didn't go well or something like that, there's a part of me that just feel really dirty down there, and I would just cut off feeling down there, or if I worry about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be pregnant or something, I just cut off from that whole down there, I don't live down there. And
yeah. Well, and here's the thing, May. I love sex. Even at that age, it wasn't like I was a virgin when I was raped. Yeah. I had been sexually not active, but exploring with boys for I don't know how long. I was just fascinated and absolutely enthralled with sex, and played in that genre in different ways. so I was very much alive and in touch with my sexuality prior to that event. But afterwards, I thought, I just had this horrible image, right? You're going to love this one. It was like my cunt was going to be a trap, a man trap.
Oh, my God.
I just had this thing, and it was like, I'll get you back, my pretty, like the evil witch from the... Yeah, that. So what I used, and that's the other thing, through my teens, and it was twofold. One, I had this belief. One, I'm going to get those suckers back, and I'm going to abuse guys just like think about this. What more would a guy want than to be able to fuck some young teenager, right?
Right.
And here I was thinking in my mind, I'm getting them back by allowing that to occur in the first.
I know. So I want to hear.
It's very twisted thought when you're all messed up in your teens.
I want to hear that strategy of this teenager. Like, what were you gonna do? Fuck them and then leave them, or eat up their?
So different.
Fantasy.
Fuck them, but I wouldn't move. I'd be a dead fuck, or fuck them, and then I'd come and I'd make sure that I scrambled away before they could. Different things like that.
Yeah.
Or have them be so swooned by me that they wanted more, and I was like, you don't get me.
Right. Oh, honey. So the control, the protector just snapped into place, and she's like, you're not going to get me.
You're not going to get me. Yeah. And that decision, that you're not going to get me, is one of the ones that I peel away even today. Wow. I hold back with people even today in different degrees. Yeah. And it takes a lot of consciousness on my part, being aware when I feel in my body, the internal wince, the cringe of of having to show up, having to be vulnerable, having to be exposed emotionally, intimately, in any way, shape. It could be at work, it could be at play, it could be with family, friends. It makes no difference where. But if the felt sense of it resonates back to being exposed and showing up and being vulnerable, then that comes into play, that, you're not going to get me. Yeah. And the wall comes in, it can come in, and it takes a lot for me to go, oh, this feels like that. Oh, there it is again. Oh, there it is again. And to relax and let it go. Sometimes I'm successful, and sometimes I'm not.
And probably a lot of times you don't even recognize it, that's happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I say when I'm not successful is when I'm not operating from that, from being connected to the feeling of it, and then feeding that back, going, oh, it's the same, this is this. I'm not operating from a sense of consciousness is what I call it. Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you, I'm still stuck in that, the rape scene, like how did you tend to your bruises and your physical bruises?
Physical bruises?
Yeah, it was a violent thing, and it didn't just happen once, right? You said that months later something else happened.
The physical bruises would have been on my torso, and in between my legs and my crotch and stuff like that, for sure. But the bruises from the beating were very easily hid because of just wearing clothes. So he basically, kicked me in the stomach, in the back of the legs, that. So I was on the ground, and he was just laying the boots to me. So that was that. And during the rapes, it wasn't violent rapes like that so much. It was just being raped, just being taken. I say violent. I guess that it's all an act of violence.
Right. I like how you call it.
But there wasn't anyone punching and kicking while I was being raped. Yeah. There was a second. There was a second incident, and I got a black eye. It's interesting. Months later, I was gang raped a second time, May, for Pete's sakes. Not once, but twice. So the second time, what happened was I was just like, you know what, like the you're not going to get me kicked in real loud that time. And it was like, I'm just going to bid out of here. I'm just going to go away in my mind, and you can have my body. It's here for you. Go ahead, and I'm going someplace else. So I literally was like stone cold, frozen in my body, not moving. And one man or guy, it was young, later teen boys, was insistent that I move because he wasn't enjoying himself. I was being, the dead fuck.
Right.
And he wasn't enjoying himself. And I just like, no, I'm not doing anything. Fuck you. So he ended up punching me in the eye.
Mm.
He punched me in the eye, saw stars, and I moved. It was like, well, it was like that hurt. So it was the lesser of two evils at that point in time.
Yeah. My part of my brain is just paralyzed from, the traumaticness of this, and it's just kind of like, I'm having a little meltdown in my head, even though
Welcome to my world, May. Like, seriously, the meltdowns I've had in my head over 30 years occur far less frequently now, and they don't last as long. But I don't want to make light of it. The process of healing and working through has been, an experience where there were times. I remember once I was in my 20s and for no reason woke up one morning and said, I'm not going to work. And I didn't show up for 3 months. 3 months.
Wow.
I bid out. I was like, yeah, so you want to talk about being frozen and that? Yeah, I've done that.
Oh, my God. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Right? I mean, you cope, and you keep along, and you keep you get up, you get vertical, and then you move through life. But then there's got to be some point that just said, fuck this, I just can't. I'm not doing anything anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, that was one of the points. And so it's things like that for myself, and I can't speak for the journey of all women that have gone through something similar or anything like that, but there was a choice point, and I can remember the choice point was, this is it. Like, either you get up off the couch and you start picking up the pieces of your life and do whatever the hell you have to, do whatever I needed to do for myself.
Yeah.
The pain of doing nothing and being in this place was so, like you said, paralyzing and numbing, and I wanted pleasure back in my life. I wanted fun back in my life. I wanted joy back in my life.
I mean, like, how did you even know that pleasure was available? I mean, I could just see some people would just see that as there's no such thing as pleasure. I mean, like, the jadedness and the, you know what I mean? Like how did you even let pleasure, the thought of pleasure, be even a possibility in
at that point? Okay, well,
in your life.
Well,
But like,
I think we're all born. There's to me, there's an innate knowing that there's joy and there's pleasure. We all have moments, and we can focus on the bad or we can focus on the good. And one of the things I was very fortunate was when I was in my late teens, I met my high school sweetheart, and this guy was wonderful. He totally loved me unconditionally. He knew everything.
Yeah.
He knew about my drive to get all those guys back. And he didn't say, he was like, oh, well, that's not what's going on now.
Yeah.
So he loved me unconditionally, and it was through being with him. And again, the I would say sex with him was the same vanilla flavor it had been with other men up until that point in time, or young men at that point in time. But over time, we developed such trust and such respect and love for each other that I was able to really open up to him and to enjoy myself. And, like, I think I was 18. I'd met him about a year and a half before. I was 18 when I had my first orgasm with a man.
Yeah.
So, a remembering of that experience, I was talking to him, God, I don't know, a couple months ago or whatever, and he goes, do you remember? I'm going, oh, yeah, that's enough said. Like, yeah, I remember. So once you've got a physical, embodied experience to grasp onto, May,
yeah,
that's all you need.
So, well, it sounds
all I needed.
Right, and there's a couple more, right? I mean, like you need a friend, you need people to help you heal and to receive that and to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And then your body kind of takes over, and then what happened with all your relationships?
Oh, well, that relationship didn't last long. I still had so much work to do, and I had one of the biggest things was I'm still not good enough. And I ended up leaving him and moving hours away to a different city. I came up to Toronto at that point. And for a while there, what I ended up doing was I got into more abusive relationships. So I was dating, not long-term, but I started dating guys that were bad boys. Yeah. And abusive, where, at times I had to call the police and things. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but this is what I was attracting. But again, it was who I was being and my energy around that.
So, Julie, hang on. Did you, it sounds like you took on the persona of, like, you're not good enough, you deserve all these bad things. Is that fair?
Yeah, I was very much self-punishing, and I was bad. I was a bad person.
So did that happen before the rape, or does that happen as a result of the rape? Somehow being raped?
I think that was probably even younger than that, May.
Oh.
That goes back to another whole stream of stuff in my life from a lot younger. So but it was just magnified.
Right.
It was all magnified. So even the rape and me having the stand that I did about not telling anyone and things like that all resonated right back to something even younger.
Oh, okay. Got it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Honey. It sucks, right? I mean, everything's kind of built up on itself. What happened to us as a baby, as 1-year-old, 3-year-old, whatever, however, whenever it starts, it just builds up, and then it creates this pattern of not worth it, not worthy of love, not worthy of respect, not worthy of whatever.
Yeah, yeah. We all have varying degrees of that not good enough. We're born whole and complete, and then little things occur and chip away at that. And I think that's part of the journey of this life, my life, everyone's life, is to reclaim that wholeness and that perfection of who we are,
So tell us about that. So you had a nice boyfriend to help you start reclaiming your wholeness and
and then I needed a sex sabbatical because
good.
to do more healing. So my sex sabbatical turned into a very long-term relationship for well over a decade with a guy that was awesome, a very good man, very gentle. Both of us were, I would say, emotionally inhibited at that time.
Right.
Which played out into the bedroom for sure. So, it was very much at the time, I thought it was great sex. It was very vanilla, cookie cutter sex.
Yeah.
A lot of fun and play. So there was ease and joy in that.
Yeah.
But not a lot of variety, not a lot of range.
Right.
But it was good because it was at that time that it allowed me to do things to heal my issues around self-esteem and do some work. So I went and did different therapies and saw psychologists and this, that, and the other thing during that phase of my life, knowing that I had to do, work around some of these other things. And basically that relationship, as I grew and wanted more for myself in the relationship as well as in the bedroom, it became blatantly obvious that we weren't going to keep walking that same path. So, yeah, so we separated.
And were you conscious of that's what was happening, or you just kind of like all of us, stumble along and then looking back and go, oh, that's what was happening?
I was aware. I was very aware that we weren't coming together in agreement, that we were very different. Yeah. I think when I first got involved with him, I did what a lot of people do. You get together because there's this chemistry, little zing, and so there was a chemistry there, and jumped into bed with him rather quickly, did all the bonding, the physical bonding things, and then without having any discernment about values and what's going to work long term.
Yeah.
So, after a long time, and again, I think I stayed in that relationship a long time. One, it was safe. It was and I needed safety at that time in my life. I needed a safe place to be.
Yeah.
He created that container for me. It was perfect for what I needed. But at the same time, there was also self-esteem issues where I wasn't worthy of anything more.
Yeah. Totally get it.
So as I healed the self-esteem, then I could take a look at where are we? Are we lined up in values? And we tried, it's not to say that I just made the decision and said, okay, goodbye,
Got it.
That we did our work together as a couple and sought different forms of relationship support and things like that over years. We tried.
Yeah.
We did the best we could.
And then what happened?
It wasn't working. Yeah.
And
Pardon
then
me?
And then what happened?
Oh, well, let's see. Then what happened? Then I met this wonderful, incredible man. This is the part that I know you love. Then what happened? Tell me. Okay, so what happened was I was in my early 30s, and my God, the fumes off of Julie were flying. My sex drive was so hot and high that literally I could be driving down the street and there was guys flocking in the cars and stuff. And it was I kept saying, I'm fuming. I've got these pheromones flying off my body and they're wafting. Anyways, I met this man. So I was very much sexually alive. But I met this man and his offer was, hey, you're single and I'm not looking for a long-term relationship, but I am into having really hot, funky, fun, bondage-type sex and things like that. Do you want to play? And I was like, okay. One foot in the water. I think it was a toe, one toe in the water. Because I'd never had any experience with anything like that. Nothing. Right. No toys, nothing.
But isn't it so funny? I have to just say, I had a very similar experience when my first person that offered to play with me that way, It's it's so funny because as scary as it looks, we all say yes. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We can't help ourselves, right? We just know where the goodies are.
Well, yes, and they are good. It's tantalizing. It's mysterious. It's edgy. It's hot. It's horny. It's all of it. Mm. There's this desire and to explore and to want more. I wanted to be more expressive sexually, to feel more. I wanted that state of wild abandon and ecstasy, and just I wanted that. I didn't know exactly what he was talking about when he offered. I'll tell you that much.
I know. Well, I'm going to take a quick little break, and then when we come back, you get to tell us all about what he had to offer and what you got to receive.
Perfect.
Is your marriage or relationship in crisis? Where one partner wants to expand into their sex and bring scary changes to the relationship, while the other partner is dug in, protective, and saying, No way in hell is this going to happen. Mai knows this place well, and she can help both sides. She is truly amazing. Learn more about her specialty, crisis coaching for couples and individuals, at sexliesandconsciousness.com.
I love that commercial. My honey made it for me. He's an ex-DJ, and
he's got a great voice.
I know. Well, he used to do radio for a decade or so. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you got this man tantalizing you, didn't offer you a lifetime relationship or a wedding ring, but offer you hot sex and to be tied up, and you said, okay.
Yes, please. And I will say what was really great about it, because I had never explored my own sexuality truly up to that point. It was, like I said, it was pretty cookie cutter and stuff. And
too busy punishing yourself and slamming your sexuality rather than really exploring it.
I had made it wrong. I had made sex wrong. I had made my own sexuality wrong. If I were to feel that wanting to do something that I would have at that time called a little edgy or avant-garde or voyage, like whatever, I would have said, "Oh, that's so bad, Julie," that kind of attitude, and I would have tried to suppress it.
It's just amazing to me how many ways we make our sex wrong. Like being raped is a very compelling way to make your sex wrong and make your body wrong and dirty, but then being born Catholic and raised Catholic, that's another.
So I got that going too. So guilt sex, let's do that.
Yeah, and sex for anything other than making babies is wrong, and saying that you like sex is wrong. Immediately you go into the slut. The slut category.
You've got to be a slut. You've got to be a tramp. Good girls don't like sex.
That's just so amazing. Anyway, so then you like sex and you're exploring. So here we go. What happened?
Nothing, Magda. Julie freezes up yet again,
Oh, I thought you were just being a big tease.
Well, I can do that too. Okay, so let's see what happened. Well, it started with small things. So just inquiring about, well, what are your fantasies, Julie? What are your fantasies? I'll tell you some of mine. Do you want to stage some of these fantasies?
Yeah.
So it started with very, very small things like that.
What was your first fantasy? Do you remember?
Do you know what, May? I don't remember my first fantasy that I had.
Oh, what are some of your favorite fantasies then?
Oh, of being raped, of all things.
Well, I'm so glad you say that, because I had a moment just now where I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to confession with Julie right here, right now. I'm like, Julie, one of my favorite fantasies is being raped, but it feels so inappropriate to say that here. It feels psycho and crazy.
Yeah. So you know what I've come to get? It's not so much about being raped; it's about being ravished.
Yeah.
To be just totally torn wide open and just have that expression, like just
right,
to,
and being controlled, but not dangerous like that.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's not dangerous. I'm not getting hurt. I'm just being broken wide open and just in total sheer bliss and ecstasy.
Yeah, and when we say broken, we don't mean punch in the fucking face like
no.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just that place of being just boundless and out of control and just feeling everything.
So let's stay here for a second. This is actually a doorway that just opened in front of me here. There's something so amazing here, Julie, that you can speak to. I'll do an analogy and then you expand on your side, okay? But like for me, when I was growing up, my dad used to hit me all the time. Crazy, stupid, freaking reasons, and I get hit. I get hit for doing a math problem wrong. I get hit for breaking a dish. Didn't matter. And when I started playing with a man when I was 39 or 40, and he tied me up and then started flogging me.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm being tied up and he's flogging me with this big old flogger, and I had a moment where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I being tied up here and let this guy hit me? Didn't I have enough hitting when I was younger?
Yes.
And then immediately what came over was like, wow, this is for my pleasure. And he's paying attention to me for what is getting me off, rather than when my dad hit me, it was because he was getting it off for himself.
Yeah, to inflict pain. Yeah. Well, and that's exactly, like, even through the, as things got deeper, and I'll use, in quotes, use the word darker, with our experimenting and play, what came up, it was hitting my triggers, just like yours were. So, like, different things, like if, being tied up, it made me feel trapped. And it was like, initially, right? And it's like, for me, though, it wasn't like it coming, like in your case, you were like, hey, what the hell is he doing? For me, it was like all of a sudden I was frozen again. And it was like, you're not going to get me, asshole. Yeah. Right? That came up. Then, and it was through that when I got it. And I remember once him looking at me and he's like, why are you so serious, Julie? We're supposed to be having fun here,
What?
Like,
oh shit, yeah. And you're
and it was like click, it was like click, and it was like, oh yeah, you're not here to hurt me. You're here to help me. We're here to in joining in some love and fun and play and really go deep into this. So it was, I think, in that moment or around about that time that it was like, okay, I'm getting triggered. I am getting triggered, and I'm clamping up my crotch. I'm clamping up my body. I'm like, everything's wanting to shut down. Mm-hmm. And it was in those moments that I that was the best healing, healing, because it was like, oh, this feels like the rape, and it's not. That's not what's going on right here and right now. This is about deepening my pleasure and my trust. Yeah. So I had to learn to relax into that and to stay open and to breathe. Right. and be with that. So it was like what I would call like a sexual yoga thing going on, where we'd go to an edge that I could handle, and we'd hang out there for a while, and then I'd relax into that, and then we'd stretch a little more into more exploration of all the different things that were available to us. Yeah. And did he know your history, and was he anticipating that, or was it a surprise to him? I did not disclose that to him. Not then. I think down the road after I did, yes. Right. Okay. Yeah. The poor guy. No, he didn't have a clue. Yeah, that poor guy. He probably needs to be tied up. Well, we did that too. Love it. Well, I think it's so. This is so great. We hadn't planned on talking about this at this level, but I think there's a big question that most people who want to explore the bondage world, they're like, why would I want to be tied up? Why would I want to be trapped? Why would I want to be flogged? Why would I want to, all these things? But that's the crazy beauty and depth and profoundness of this world, is that it has such a power to heal you and to allow us to undo all these events in our life and recognize that, I'm in control now. I'm not the victim here. That's right. He's actually doing it for me, for my pleasure, not onto me, for his pleasure. It's just so fascinating to me. Yeah, so the deeper that we went into places that I would be frozen in the past was intentional for healing. It caused great healing. Yeah. And what I will say, it was progressive, May.
Yeah.
Like some of the things like you're talking about, flogging and this, that, I'm sure most of the listeners, and if it was me back then and somebody had said, oh, Julie, you're going to get involved in this and he's going to flog you, and it was like, oh, you think, eh?
Right.
A bloody chance. What I'm saying is it was a very gentle progression, so everyone has different edges, and they come in at different places of what's acceptable and where they can go. And there's always deeper to go, always. There always is. But there has to be that willingness and that consciousness of it being in service of expanding who we are.
Yeah. And that you bring up such a good point. Just in case people are listening to the show and they want to play and explore, I totally encourage you to go play and explore. But really, never take on anyone that said, oh, yeah, and you should be able to like this, or, go at your own speed. Just pay attention to what comes up for you. Those are the moments for you to heal and undo stuff about yourself. But don't shoot yourself. Don't shoot yourself to go, oh, I want to completely heal that, so go ahead and do all these things to me. You get to go slow, and you get to be ready for it.
Yeah, and everyone's got different closures, May. It was interesting. I was on a private intensive recently, a sexual intensive, with a number of a small group of people, men and women, coupled men and women. And the things that I balked at, other people walked in and it was like no big deal. And then other things that other people balked at, I'm going, what's your problem?
So much for being understanding, because
I didn't say it out loud, May. Come on.
Come on, your face. I know it's written all over your face.
But that's all I'm saying is that there's different. Where you go is where you go willingly.
Yeah, totally. Do you want to share what roadblock you ran into? What did you uncover?
Oh, that particular roadblock there?
Yeah. What did you walk?
Well, that was, one of my doozies. Remember I told you about this man asking me to move?
Yeah.
Right? And in the rape move, right?
Okay,
so
right.
That's been a big thing. If anyone out there asks me to do anything, I don't care if it's, Julie, can you take the dishes? Can you do the dishes?
Yeah.
Can you do this, or whether it's in the bed, out of the bedroom, whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's always been this underlying thing about you can't make me, and no, I won't. I'm not going willingly.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so in this form, it was very simple. It was just the men were in a circle around the women.
Yeah.
We were just to dance,
Yeah.
So the ask was, Julie, would you move physically?
Oh, God, honey.
And I was like, fuck you.
Oh.
I laugh now, but at the time, it was so intense.
Exactly.
It was intense.
And it's like 30-something years later, you're still saying, fuck you, I'm not moving,
Yeah, so again, this is what I'm saying. We're having consciousness and knowing that I'm at choice. Yeah. And in that moment, it was like, what can I do differently? Even if it's just wiggle my toe right now.
Oh, I know, honey, but that is just amazing to encounter that and to be gentle with yourself and to and to find a new ways to operate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when the healing happens, is in the present moment.
Yeah.
Being free, that's you want to call it transformation or the
shift.
The shift is in the present moment, saying that this ask in that case is not what happened. It might feel like that, but you get to, in the moment, in the present, do something different. And when I did that, that freed me up around the other.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more. I'm sure somebody's going to ask me to do something in the future, and I'm going to go, oh.
Well, this your sharing of that incident just reinforces and reminds me to be more gentle and allowing for others. Like, I don't know people's walk of life. I don't know their trigger point. You know, it seems obvious to me. I'm just asking you to move one step forward, you know, to dance.
Yeah.
And they're completely frozen in whatever that trapped them, you know, and it's just like,
you have no idea. You have no
yeah,
clue.
exactly. Just help raise my awareness again, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
girlfriend, you just don't know, and it could be as big as that, right? Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's where, as coaches, we get to have more empathy and depth is in bringing that to what the work that we do is to know we don't have a clue what's going on the other side, really.
Yeah.
You know, and to have some compassion, more compassion and gentleness. Yeah.
Could never have enough gentleness. And
there's a time and a place, May.
So what's next for you, Julie? What, as you're looking at your healing and your process, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Great question, May. You know, this being on this program was my what's next like an hour ago.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, great. So now I'm going to jump off from here.
What was so, now that you've done it, you know,
yeah.
so what's here? What unfolded for you as you witnessed yourself talking about this publicly? And
well, yeah, and to me it's about normalizing. I'm not saying that what didn't happen wasn't horrific.
Yeah.
But what I'm not going to allow that moment in time to hold me and keep me from living a joyous, wonderful, awesome, incredible life.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, if I keep reliving that story, it still got me, and I'm still a victim. So part of me being on your show even is a part of my healing journey as well, which was, you know, to show up and say, no, you don't got me. That doesn't have me. I've got me. Yeah. I'm holding me.
Yeah.
So that was big. And I guess the other thing was I wanted, if I'm still challenged after all these years, I just wanted to really get clear about that with others too.
Yeah.
May, that, you know, it's not easy. It's not always easy. There's always stuff there. So I think for me, the what's next is to reach more women that maybe didn't have the resources or the wherewithal or whatever to resolve or to work through, and they're there right now. They're out there living out their lives of quiet desperations. Their husbands can't figure out why they, you know, don't have great sex, or you know this, they won't go there, or vice versa. And it's not just about sex, but it's in all aspects of their lives.
Yeah.
So I think my what's next is to have a bigger impact in that field, and just keep speaking what I know.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much for sharing this story, and for sharing it in such a way that that, you know, we're not stuck in it, but that we get to thrive in it. We get to feel the pain and laugh, and also see the hope and the clarity and all. I don't know. It's just a very interesting conversation for me to just like get to go deep in it and not feel like there's certain things that I shouldn't ask you about, or oh my gosh, that would trigger you, or oh my gosh, I don't want to be offensive, or you know, that kind of stuff.
Oh no, if there's anything you wanted to ask, you know, I'm open to that, May.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you would never. Your intention is clean. Okay, so, and that's fine. So it doesn't make a difference. So it's not that rape or abuse of any shape or form needs to be. I don't have to hold it from a place of shame.
Yeah.
It's the shame. I don't know. The shame's not mine, anyways.
Right.
If there was shame in that, you know, those boys have to live with themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So the shame, there's nothing that's shameful about having a conversation around this, and it's taken me a long time to even be able to say that, and then to claim it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
now that you said there's no shame, now I could say it. Now
Okay.
Hey, so the next show that you're going to be on is that you're going to talk about how to give the greatest head, right?
No. You're so funny, May. I know that's how for the listenership or readership or whoever they are out there, this is where May and I had met. We were talking. I was sharing a story about a funny story about a girlfriend and giving head. And we had a good laugh, so May had asked me to come on the show. And May, this is your work in the world to do that type of thing, but I do know a man that did most definitely said that he would love to come on your show and have a chat about how to receive good head. So, Chris, if you're listening.
Well, I want to have both of you guys on because
all right. Well, we'll have to. I don't know. It's not that there's not any shame in it, May, about blowjobs. It's not my work in the world to be having that kind of conversation.
You're so funny, honey.
I know anyway, I am.
So my desire, you can choose or not, is to do a show on how to give good head. Like, and the title of the show will be "Good Girls Give Good Head." And
good girls do give good head. Absolutely.
And you sounded like a poster child for this conversation. So I want you to have good head. And when you're ready, you'll let me know. And I would love to have your friend on my show too, and talk about how do men receive good head. That's good for me too. That would be really fun. And I thought it would be so fun for the three of us on the show together.
That would be so brilliant. That would be hysterical. Seriously, it would be hysterical.
We've survived rape, and we survived
right down to the blowjobs now. Yep.
And oh my God, I just saw something. Isn't that would be so amazing? You went from hating men and using your vagina to punish them and withhold and all that stuff to get it back. Now you're going all the way to the other side where you take a stand for giving good heads, loving men and giving them pleasure. I mean, now that's healing, baby.
Well, it is. Yeah, and it's and there's nothing for me. There's nothing better than having a nice hard cock in my mouth. I love it.
You see?
It feels good to pleasure a man like that for me.
Well, honey, congratulations. I mean, for you to say that openly, publicly on air, and I can feel the giggle in your face and your mouth around that. I can imagine the hard cock in your mouth and how much you enjoy that. I mean, that you have gone a long way, sweetie pie.
Why, thank you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you. And, blessings on those boys, what they done to you or at that time. And it's just like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I'll say, in closing, I said there was, earlier I said shame towards those guys.
Yeah.
They held the shame, and they did, perhaps. But I want to say, for part of my healing journey, May, with that, I had to forgive them.
Yeah.
And what helped me was to to see these guys, and it was like, well, that guy that broke the door down, and was just like nasty.
Yeah.
It was, my God, this guy, here he was, a young teen.
Yeah.
And he came into this world, this beautiful little fat, chubby, gorgeous little tiny baby with chubby cheeks,
Yeah.
and just smiles. And it's like, what happened to him to make him so angry?
Yeah.
So everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
Not condoning. I am certainly not condoning what happened. Absolutely not. And yet, I needed to go through that process to find forgiveness for them so that I wouldn't be bitter a victim of it anymore.
Exactly, and a victim of that. Absolutely. Honey, how do people find you if they like to know more about you or check out your work and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm still in hiding, May. No, I'm just kidding. My website is their best option, julieward.com. So JuliewardCom. And you can find me on Facebook under Julie Ward Coaching as well.
Yay!
Yay!
Or, isn't there also something about Ask Julie?
That's my email address, yeah. So my email address is askjulie@julieward.com.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you so much, honey, for being on the show today and for bringing such a luscious and heartwarming, meaningful conversation to all of us. It's not easy to talk about these things, and thank you for talking about it.
Oh, you're welcome, May, and thank you for having me on. It's really been a blessing in my life to be able to have this conversation and have more freedom in my life around speaking my truth. So I really appreciate you for allowing me to be here with you.
Yep. Get rid of this clutter so that you can fill your life up with beautiful hard cocks.
You know what? I was going to say that.
That could be my new way of signing off to everyone. Of clutter
awesome.
So that you can fill with hard cocks and wet pussies out there.
Yahoo!
That is what we're up to do in the world, right? As coaches, right?
Absolutely. It's all about whatever makes you happy.
That's
I know what makes me happy.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. We look forward to more amazing conversation in the future, the next Monday. And if you want more information, come to my website, www.sexliesandconsciousness. Have a wonderful...
Do you want more sex, lies, and consciousness? Access our archives at sexliesandconsciousness.com. While you're there, please leave your comments or suggestions for the show and participate in current SLC conversations with other listeners worldwide.